Let's get to the schedule.
All right, we're going to welcome everyone to the North Shore Water Main Replacement Project Virtual Community Meeting. During this meeting, we will discuss the project impact, various stakeholders, and the contractors and engineers work being done. We'll start the presentation with Mr. David Hayes, Director of DeKalb County Watershed Management.
Good evening to everyone and welcome. It's a privilege to be here before you today to discuss the North Shore Water Main Replacement Project. My name is David Hayes. I serve as Director of Watershed Management. As a licensed water professional, I've served with DeKalb County for more than 26 years, and I've taken on many roles within Watershed in that time. Next slide, please. This evening, we have a team of experts here to share information regarding the North Shore Water Main Replacement Project and to answer questions that you may have. We'll talk about DeKalb water infrastructure, the problems that they have, and the problems that you may be experiencing, and then the plan to correct the issues. And finally, we'll discuss our communication strategy. Before we get started with the history and the introduction to watershed management and the project, I would like to acknowledge the elected officials that are responsible for this district. You have Commissioner Patrick Bradshaw, District 4, and Super District 7, Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson. I'd like to give them a thank you for their full support in allowing us to help the citizens of this community. Next slide. Let me tell you a little bit about the function of DeKalb County and what we do. An overview of watershed management. We're allowed to take in and treat as much as 128 million gallons of water per day from the river. We currently average about 70 million gallons of drinking water per day that we distribute to the homes and businesses throughout DeKalb County. We have the ability to receive and treat about 56 million gallons of wastewater from the residents once the water is used. All the water and sewer is conveyed using DeKalb County's more than 5,000 miles of water and sewer pipe in the ground around and throughout DeKalb County. If this pipe were extended end to end, this would be enough pipe to extend from California to Georgia and back. Next slide. So why are we replacing the lines in this area? Some of the water lines are more than 60 years of age and have far outlived their life. In your subdivision, it is unfortunate they use a PVC line that has a shorter lifespan. Your lines are installed in somewhere around 1984, 86 era. But these lines get brittle and they break. So what we're trying to do now is to replace the water lines, to reduce the breaks, to improve service, which will yield a better DeKalb, a better future. And to accomplish this, next slide, please. We've dedicated a full team to this project to include every needed resource from Watershed and all other water departments within DeKalb County, and several industry-leading engineering firms and construction firms who will all be led by DeKalb County's own Watershed Management Engineering Department. With this team, this will allow a timely, safe, and successful project. Managing this initiative, and the next person that you will hear from is the program administrator, Ms. Cassandra Marshall. Ms. Marshall.
Thank you, Director Hayes. Good evening. My name is Cassandra Marshall. I am the Program Administrator for Capital Improvement Projects for Watershed Management. I am also responsible for managing the DWM construction management staff. In these next few slides, I will provide an overview of the system problems and our solution to repairing the aging water system. Next slide. In the North Shore subdivision area, the county has been faced with 44 water main breaks from 1989 to 2021. We've also encountered 19 complaints about brown water or low water pressure issues from 2017 to 2021. Although this pipe was installed in the 1980s, we've encountered constant breaks and failures, creating multiple operational inefficiencies. Next slide. The county has over 3,000 miles of pipe in the water system to maintain and provide drinking waters to the ratepayers. We also have 4 pressure zones, 21 water storage facilities that are shown in the cyan colors on the map, 16 pump stations that are in the blue colors on the map, and 6 pressure regulating stations. As you can see, this is a large system to maintain. Most of the system is aged and cannot be repaired all at one time. Therefore, the county had to develop a best practice way to evaluate and prioritize how and when the piping will be replaced. Our first objective was to model the system. In 2019, the county developed its first hydraulic model. A hydraulic model is a computer simulation of the water system. The model provided a big picture look at how the system should be functioning. To develop the model, we use county GIS data, meter data of the water usage from the billing system facilities data such as the water storage facilities and regulated stations. This data was ultimately used to develop the county's master plan and used to prioritize projects. Next slide. So to this point of the presentation, you've heard about the problem and the development of a replacement plan. I will now speak to the solution and the execution of the CIP project. So what does CIP stand for? CIP, or Capital Improvement Project, is a project that helps maintain or improve an asset. It can either be new construction, an expansion, renovation, or replacement of an existing infrastructure. Last year, the Board of Commissioners approved a new CIP program for $2.4 billion for projects to be completed from 2021 to 2030. The North Shore Water Main Replacement Project is a $4.4 million project that is included within that plan. My team, the CIP team, is responsible for getting that work done. My team includes 4 DWM construction managers and 12 licensed inspectors. Later in the presentation, you will also hear from the DWM construction project managers for this project, Mr. Edgardo Amasquita, who has over 20 years plus of construction management experience and is a licensed water professional. Along with in-house staff, we are also supported by consulting firms who help assist the county with construction management and inspection services. And what we want you to know is we're here to help. We want to reduce or eliminate emergency repairs. We want to stop breaks. And finally, after the project is complete, it will improve sustainability to the system. These improvements should last a minimum of 70+ years. You will now hear from Mr. Edgardo Amasquita about the project scope and overview.
Good evening, everyone. As Ms. Marshall said, my name is Edgardo Amasquita. I am assigned the construction project manager for this project. My team consists of other construction managers and on-site inspectors. And what my team does is we work closely with the contractor to make sure we progress through the project, finish it quickly and efficiently. Now, the scope over work that we have planned includes mobilization and equipment. And the equipment that you will see on site will be backhoes. You will see dump trucks coming through, and you also see sometimes you'll see some metal plates on the roads. And the materials that you will see coming through and being delivered through the project will consist of concrete, gravel, and asphalt paving towards the end of the project. One of the things we have to do is establish traffic control. This is done with sign postings and personnel directing traffic We also install new water main. We also install new water services. Now, the water services are installed in 2 phases because in the beginning, we will install the actual copper line that connects to the new water line. But the second phase is where we actually connect the service lines to your homes. And that happens towards the end of the project. So be aware that there will be notifications when it's your turn to connect to your home. We also decommission the old water main. And then we get into the final restorations, which include grassing, if we have to restore some curbs, and anything that was disturbed during construction will get finalized and satisfied at this point. And then we go into trying to close out the project. Now, for this project, the roads affected on is North Shore. We have Woodstone Road, Woodstone Drive, Lone Oak Drive, Lone Oak Terrace, and Lone Oak Way. And these are the streets that will be affected. And there will be a second notification by way of posting when the actual construction is going to come and start on your street. So we have an overall notification process, but we also will post notifications on your street when the contractor is getting ready to work on your street. Now, the method that we will be doing on this project will be open cut method, which consists of cutting the asphalt, digging the trench, and installing the new water line. And then after that, we go into backfilling the trench and replacing the asphalt. Next slide. And what we're doing here is we have the community notices going out. We also, the construction will start August 18th. You will see materials being delivered before then, but the actual construction, when you see contractors and construction workers, will be August 18th. Final restoration and the punch list items will be handled by November 18th, 2022. And then we will try to close out this project by December 31st, 2022. Next slide. Now, what my team is responsible for is ensuring that erosion control and sediment are in place. We must make sure that proper installation of the new water line. We also like to commit to communication with the residents. We do that throughout the project. We ensure that the traffic control is maintained daily, and then ensure safety measures because that is our priority. Make sure that the residents are safe, make sure that the workers are safe, and anyone that comes in contact with our construction zone. Next slide. And then what you see here, some images of what you typically see during construction is a picture on the left. And then what you typically see at the completion of the project is a picture on the right. And I want to thank you for your time. And Ms. Marshall will continue with the presentation.
So at this time, I will now address community concerns and what the community should be aware of. Next slide. So what to expect? Well, unfortunately, what comes with construction are inconveniences in which the county want to try to minimize. We're going to see a lot of construction traffic, foot-end vehicles, large dump trucks, and heavy equipment. There will be construction workers, county employees, and contracted workers throughout your communities. There will be material and equipment deliveries by means of large tractor trailers. The crews and flaggers will guide these large vehicles in and out of your community. What also come with working in the area is the parking issue. There will be vehicles parked alongside the streets and along the work zone. Work zones will be delineated by means of orange cones or barrels. In addition, as a security measure, all county contractors and county employees will have an identification badge and marked vehicles. There will be increased noise from the equipment backup alarms, heavy equipment usage, and saw cutting of the asphalt. Our typical work hours during construction is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, and sometimes weekend. However, when we're working near homes, we limit those hours from 8 to 5. At all time, residents will have access in and out of their driveway during construction, and notification will be distributed prior to any water service disruptions. Next slide. The sign at the bottom left of the screen is an example of a sign where we require our contractors to install prior to starting work in the area. These signs are to be placed in the view of the traffic and on every street impacted at a minimum of 72 hours prior to starting construction. And on the bottom right is an example of a generic county contractor sign to be placed on unmarked company vehicles. Other vehicles will have their company logos, and all of the cars on the county project site must be marked and identifiable as a security measure. You will now hear from Ms. Alicia Penny to discuss public communications.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Penny, and I'm the Public Relations Manager responsible for communications and outreach for the department. Tonight, I will share with you the methods DWM will utilize to communicate with you about this project. But before I do that, I want to briefly recap what has occurred so far within the community. Leading up to tonight's meeting, you received a notification letter describing the details of the project and informing you of tonight's meeting. Going forward, 48 to 72 hours before the beginning of construction, each homeowner will receive a door hanger like the one shown here, which will tell you the hours of work and what to expect during construction. We will also use the GovDelivery e-blast notification service to communicate with you. If you've not done so, please take a moment to click on the Google link that is in the chat, which will take you to a Google form that you can fill out so that we can capture your contact information. Next slide, please. These are the touch points we will use to communicate. First, we have the project hotline, which includes a 1-800 phone number and email address. We also have a dedicated webpage for the project, which will have tonight's presentation posted there as well as other project information. We will use our Twitter and Facebook social media platforms to share updates on the project. We will also use news releases in the county's weekly newsletter entitled The Relay to share information as needed. Other ways we'll use to connect with you, we'll use DCTV, which is DeKalb County Television, the Nextdoor platform, project signs, our contractors, and frequently asked questions, which will be posted to the website. Next slide, please. Listed here, you will find key contact information for the project. Most important is our dedicated project hotline and email address. Also listed here are the contact names of the engineering and construction team for the project. Finally, we have listed our 24-hour dispatch number if an emergency arises outside of normal business hours and you need to report that to us. Next slide. And with that, this concludes our presentation. We would like to thank you again for your time this evening, and we will now move into the question and answer period of the presentation. In viewing the chat, I do